roller
Yeah.
coaster ride to say
Not
the
not
least.
not too many people want to show their face like that. So
we started Ternio about 2 years ago, and I mean it's been not only kind of like a time sacrifice, but like an emotional and a
Right.
personal
Of
sacrifice.
course.
I ended up selling my house just so that we could continue
Absolutely.
living, and we ended up like moving from the New York, New Jersey area down to
Right.
North Carolina just to
Right.
downsize. And so, the thing that we've always tried to like impress upon people, whether you like what we're doing or you don't, is that, listen, we're authentic, we're real people.
Right.
We're not some, 10, $20 million VC
Right.
funded, moonshot. We're just
Absolutely.
two guys. We're trying to build a real company, solve real problems. And, candidly, I think at the height of the market or when things are real crazy,
Hmm.
that wasn't really overlooked. But I think that, through demonstrating execution over time, we've built this really loyal following of people who are just
Right.
like, shit, like these guys said they're going to do something and they
yeah.
just keep doing it over and over, and they're still here and they're still going.
Right.
And
These guys are
so,
really doing it. Absolutely. And that's
it's cool.
that's one thing that I realized when I looked into your background. I mean, this is gonna be so for the viewers that are gonna be watching this right now. Welcome to a whole new journey because you guys have been around for a little while now, and you guys have been asking for this, asking for cryptocurrency related content, asking for those engagements with the big industry leaders or even the smaller guys that are doing it, like yourselves, that are actually doing some huge things. Because when you look at it from the outside, you wouldn't think this whole ship is ran just you and Daniel. You would really think this was built with an
Exactly.
army of guys. Because
Well, it is. I should
yeah,
say that.
right.
Daniel and I are just we're probably the two dumbest guys in the company.
The dumb guys that get things done.
We have people that are much smarter than us,
Right,
but we've got a really talented team that helps make it all happen.
right,
And we wouldn't be able to do it on our own by any means. And the nice thing is that all these guys are. It's not just a job for them, right? They're
right,
really passionate about what
right.
we're doing at Ternio, and they're committed. And these guys, I mean, they're working weekends, they work long hours,
Just like
but
us, just like us.
it's the opportunity size and what we're doing, and working in kind of a nascent market, and the opportunity of what we're building. And actually it's so big that everybody is just not only kind of like financially committed to it, but they're emotionally committed to it. And that's what really I think has helped us get to where we are today.
Hmm.
But where we're going to be going in the next year is even more tremendous. And we could talk more about that on
I
the interview.
mean, I mean, look at
Yes.
yourself. We got in touch with you. What, it was Saturday night, Sunday morning, and you're there available, chatting to me. And I don't know what's you guys are in Eastern time zone as well, right? Because we're over here in
Yeah.
Toronto in Eastern time zone. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're kind of around the same time, and I think I was messaging you like 2, 3, 4 a.m. or something. I was late night working. I was editing a video. I was editing multiple videos, and I thought I'd get in touch with you. And of course, you answer. And now it's Sunday. It's when everyone's off. We're on a video call, talking about how we're gonna change
That's
the
it.
world.
24-hour turnaround. That's it. Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's crazy. So Ian, it's a pleasure to have you on the channel. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself? We'll just jump right into it and see if we can get some questions answered. And some of the audience, I bet there's a lot of people that are gonna watch this video that are already familiar with the Ternio project. They're familiar with your face. But for the guys that aren't, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background and how this whole company came together, how this whole team came together, and you guys built this all right now.
absolutely. Listen, I just want to say, first off, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm
Pleasure.
honored to be the first guest. And
It's a
I just
pleasure.
really appreciate you guys, reaching out.
Absolutely.
My name is Ian Kane. I am one of the co-founders of Ternio. At Ternio, what we're focused on is building real-world application
Hmm.
for blockchain and cryptocurrency.
All
My background is actually in digital advertising.
right. Okay.
So 10 plus years, I've worked in different advertising companies,
Right.
specifically around things like user acquisition and cross-device data targeting. So if you've ever looked up a pair of Nike shoes on your laptop, and then you're out at the store and you got an ad for Nike shoes on your mobile phone. I probably played a very small role in helping kind of correlate that
Yeah.
usage and that ad targeting.
Right.
And so anyway, I spent years in the company, primarily around the advertising side of things in Manhattan, New York. And so looking at kind of the challenges in the industry and hearing about all of this new thing called Bitcoin and its magic money, I naturally got very interested kind of being in the tech scene. And so I wasn't really sure when I first heard about Bitcoin, like, why is this thing valuable? But what I did learn a lot about was the blockchain. And so naturally, my mind gravitated towards how could blockchain be used in digital advertising to make things better, faster, more efficient. And so I was working at a company called Ad3 at the time, which was actually a company that my co-founder at Ternio, Daniel, started. And it was really around video. And we started looking at different things like, hey, could blockchain help with supply chain transparency? Because what most people don't know is that when Nike, they buy an ad on, let's see, the WallStreetJournal.com, they don't work with WallStreetJournal.com directly. They work through a series of middlemen, and that supply chain is very murky. And a dollar might go in on the advertising side, but Wall Street Journal only receives 25 cents. So you have 75% getting sucked up by all these different intermediaries that nobody knows who they're working with. So blockchain obviously could solve a lot of that.
That's what's in there that's going to be solving that issue right there. And I think that's why it's become so popular over the last little while, is because we want to remove that middleman.
Exactly. And so, we're looking at that. Obviously, things like cryptocurrency, instant payment, right? Payment remittance is kind of the number one use case for crypto today. And so we thought, hey, it'd be really cool to allow people to transact instantly with payment, because what most people don't know, again, about advertising is that, payment is usually done net 90 to net 120, which means Nike pays immediately. Wall Street Journal doesn't get their funds until, 90 or 120 days later. So anyway, that's really when we started Ternio. We were very focused on two things, right? Which was scalability of a blockchain protocol, because in order to transact in a digital advertising space where there's a lot of transactions, you need something that's going to scale very well. That's right. The other thing was actually payment utility of cryptocurrency, because everybody's getting paid in, let's say, some kind of cryptocurrency for serving these ads, but how do you actually go and you spend it? Because at that time, and even still today, the fiat on-off ramp of US dollars to crypto was very tough. So anyway, I gave you that very long-winded story just simply to tell you kind of how Ternio got started and kind of where I came from.
So
that's awesome. Can you just touch on a little bit more on you being the CEO of such a large company, how that fits into your life, what part it plays, and kind of the day-to-day of being a COO and what you have planned for the future?
like those operations, like how is it running this company and being a founder and CEO of such a large company? Like, I bet you guys have, tons of connections, tons of networking to do all the time, tons of people that have to answer to you guys. How is being that head guy and still having the weight of this project puts on your shoulders and carrying that all the time? How does that feel?
Without sounding cliche, I say it's a lifestyle, right?
It's a lifestyle, exactly.
When you're the founder of a company, it's your baby, right? And so it's not like I'm going to a job and I'm playing a role and I just want to be a team player. I mean, every day I wake up and honestly, the first thing I'm doing is I'm checking social media. I'm checking my emails. I'm figuring out because the reality is that Monday through Friday, it's meetings, it's calls. And then on the weekends, I have this time to really catch up and do a lot of stuff, which I kind of don't get to during the week. But I will say this, it's, from the top looking down, we have a really solid team, right? So we have, our weekly stand-up meetings, right? We have a good line of communication. We don't have a physical office. So one of the challenges that we have when running Ternio is that, how do we communicate? How do we make sure that we have a good rapport? And I will say we have a team of people, I kind of joked about this before, but that, we have some of the smartest guys in the industry that are working for us. And I personally, one of the dumbest guys at the company, but luckily people give me some things to do. And so it helps out. But
it's a well put together team.
That's really what it is. And like I said, I think we said kind of before the interview started, the team that we have at Ternio, they are super dedicated. It's not just a job for them. They are kind of emotionally committed to the mission that we have, which is really building products that give blockchain and cryptocurrency real utility. And the opportunity size right now in this market, in such a nascent market, is so big that it's all blue ocean. So there's a lot of just excitement and passion behind it.
I know you keep saying you're the dumbest guy in the company, but it takes me just a few minutes to realize the intelligence behind a person and the amount of knowledge that they know about a certain field. And I can definitely see that here, Ian. You seem like a very knowledgeable guy, which is why I really want to know why Ternio. How did this, like, where did the idea come from? The features that you guys are providing right now to the community. Where did this start? Was it your idea? Was it in
Yeah.
combination with a partner? How did this thing whole birth into existence? To say the least.
Just to add on, like the problem you saw in the space and the
Hmm.
solution that you're providing to fix that problem, just kind of touching on that as well.
I love it. So let me start by saying this. I know my partner Daniel would hate this, but I'm going to say it. Ternio. Um, no, so here's to not go too down the rabbit hole. No, we here's how it was born.
Hmm.
And I will say I'm also going to just give you some kind of really candid insight on kind of the mistakes we made early on, because the Ternio that we started with is not the Ternio where we're at today.
Hmm.
But basically, as we kind of spoke about, we were focusing on two things, right?
Right.
Scalability of a blockchain,
Hmm.
payment utility of a cryptocurrency. Daniel and myself both have many years in digital advertising. And so what we decided to focus on was advertising. So it's an industry we know well. We know the problems. We can speak to the benefits of blockchain in it.
Hmm.
But what we can also do is help kind of solve the problems with the technology we have. So
Right.
when somebody transacts an advertisement, it all happens programmatically,
Right.
which is kind of similar to being that you guys have a stock background, very similar to high frequency trading in the stock market, right? So basically, you have all these companies transacting in a dark pool, right? An ad renders on WallStreetJournal.com. Nike wants to buy it. Boom, boom, boom. Milliseconds. Tick, 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 tick. Everybody decides how they're going to make their spread and how they're going to arbitrage, and ultimately, Wall Street Journal loses. And we thought, hey,
Yeah.
if you can take the protocol level data, which is called real-time bidding data, the bid response and the win notice, and write that to a blockchain in real time, you could talk about all the different parties, A, B, C, D, E, F, all the way down to Z, that transacted with that data, and put it on the blockchain so that everybody can have transparency and that murkiness is gone.
It's
And
gone.
so this is amazing. And I will say candidly, we had meetings with some of the biggest advertising companies in the world, Procter and
Yeah.
Gamble. So because everybody knows it's a real problem, and so we thought, hey, we can bring transparency to this industry. We can remove the payment flow. We can remove all these companies in the industry that are basically there just to exist, and they're not providing any value. And that's what we wanted to do because, being in that industry for 10 plus years, Daniel running multiple companies in that space, we're really passionate about solving those problems.
Of course.
And so that's really how Ternio got started because, as I mentioned, I was CRO at a company called Ad3. Daniel, it was his company. He was CEO. And we were just seeing these problems, running a business in the space.
Hmm.
Well, what we found out is that after about 9 months of, building this really cool scalable blockchain protocol, having this payment card called the block card, which basically enabled people to have that fiat off ramp to spend their cryptocurrency, we realized that enterprise is a very tough market to enter as a small startup because large companies move very slow. And when you're a startup and you're trying to build something from the ground up, you need to get revenue flowing immediately. So
Absolutely.
we thought, hey, we're not just going to do advertising, we're going to do other industries because whether you're using blockchain for supply chain transparency, data immutability, or payment remittance, it could really be anywhere. So we started talking to banks. We actually started talking with the U.S. federal government on many different levels.
Wow.
While we're going through this kind of journey, if you will, we actually got approved as an Amazon Advanced Technology Partner.
I saw that on the website. So what does that mean?
So what it means is that it's not just that we're using Amazon servers. It's that Amazon has gone through and they've essentially vetted our technology. And they said, hey, scalability is something we're focused on. If we have clients in the AWS ecosystem that essentially want to use blockchain in some capacity, you're going to be one of, I believe it's like 6 or 7 different companies who we're going to refer those companies to. Because Amazon, they still want to keep selling servers, but blockchain is the kind of thing where they essentially want to have a marketplace. And Ternio was one of the select few companies in that marketplace. So Amazon, you could think of it almost like a sales funnel for our technology. And so anyway, long story short, fast forward 9 months, we're very focused on blockchain scalability. And we thought, man, this is great. Like it's a multi-billion-dollar idea. We're going to save all this money. And the reality is that companies got it. They saw the value. They just weren't ready to move on it because they were still maybe experimenting with blockchain. Some would often conflate Bitcoin with blockchain. And they were like, well, the price volatility, how does this technology work? And we said, no.
It has
Don't
nothing to do with it. Yeah.
get sucked into the headlines. That's the reality of it. And so, and I say, I said this just to share with you and be transparent, is that it was probably a mistake for us as founders very early on to do that and devote so much time, because all while we're beating the drum of scalable blockchain, we had all these people that were asking us about this block card, right? This basically very simple Visa card that enables people to take their cryptocurrency, put it on a card, and spend it anywhere they want. And so, we said, well, listen, this is just a tool that we built for the enterprise to essentially, use it for this lexicon use case. And they said, well, can I as a consumer use it? And we thought, yeah, we probably should. And so we built out a portal in order to allow people to do that. We started opening up to consumers, and it took off. The interest it was crazy. And so what we realized is that we need to shift our focus, because, we were essentially selling people a Ferrari in a town where they only had dirt roads.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah. We see that. Yeah.
kind of like an epiphany. And, we talked to a lot of talented people, and one guy said to us, he's like, listen, the only people that care about speed are the people that want to go fast. If you don't care about speed.
Exactly. Exactly.
I thought you're right. And so, it's probably, hindsight's always 2020, but looking back at what we were able to accomplish, I still believe that the scalable blockchain protocol is going to be the future. I just think that we were early, and it's the old adage, right? Which is, what's the difference between being early and being wrong?
Right.
Nothing. So,
exactly.
that's kind of what got us through the first 9 months of Ternio. And before I kind of transition over to Blockcard, does that all make sense? Can I elaborate on that?
Absolutely. Expand on that. I want to hear all of that.
Yeah, and so we got started with Blockcard. For those,
go ahead, because that was going to be my next question. Actually, I was going to move that over into blockchain technology and how all that's going to tie into the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So, Blockcard, if anybody's listening, watching, they go to getblockcard.com. It basically is a way for anybody to take cryptocurrencies, spend it anywhere in the world. Visa is accepted, something like 50 million merchants worldwide. They can go and they can withdraw cash at ATMs. It basically functions as a fiat off-ramp, because what we realized is that a lot of consumers were having issues with essentially the ability to get out of crypto in a very cheap, quick way. Most people would use exchanges. Oftentimes the exchanges had transaction fees. They were making money on the spread. And then ultimately you're moving it to your bank account where you're going to spend it on a debit card anyway, but you'd have to wait 3 to 5 days. And so we thought, hey, one wall-to-wall transaction, put it on a card, instantly available, instant gratification. That's what people want. And so we really started to double down and put probably 95% of our energy into Blockcard. And so fast forward to today, where we're at is that you can basically sign up for a Blockcard right now. Go to getblockcard.com. You sign up, you do KYC. Our KYC is instant, so there's no uploading an ID, taking a picture, writing something on a piece of paper, put on a hat, none of that. You literally put in information, we verify you, and we immediately give you a virtual card. And that's really important. People want the ability to spend their crypto.
Yes.
So get a virtual card immediately. We mail you a physical card in 7 to 10 days.
That's awesome.
Wow. And so that's where we're going today. In the next probably 60 days or so, we're actually going to be releasing FDIC insured checking accounts, because that's really important, because people not only want the ability to spend their cryptocurrency, but also buy cryptocurrency.
Absolutely. Yeah. Too many options. Before, I know there's a few projects coming out now, and that's gonna be building a lot of competitors for you as well in the market when it comes to that aspect of things. Because I have seen a lot of projects coming out offering checking, savings account, cards, credit cards, something that's in relation to blockchain technology happen. And I want to know how you're dealing with that competition as well.
As well as like how you see yourself being different from the competitors. What makes your company stand out? What makes Ternio stand out in this between you and your competitors, and kind of in this whole marketplace to be a leader?
I think that's a great question. One thing I would say is talk is cheap and execution is everything, right?
Yes, sir.
Not just in the crypto space. That's in any space, but there are a lot of people that have essentially looked at doing something similar. And the challenge is not in building the technology, even though it is difficult to do it. That's not the main, I guess, moat. The main moat is how do you do it in a compliant way with every different country that you want to operate in. There are many companies that came out before us that had debit cards and ended up getting shut down. Coinbase, and not to say anything negative about them, but Coinbase had the Ship card for a while, and that ended up getting shut down. Many companies partnered with a third-party vendor called Wavecrest, and their program got shut down simply because move fast and break things is a great ethos in tech until you're dealing with people's money. And if you don't have the sign-off of the companies for KYC, for AML, for if you're operating on Visa or MasterCard, if you don't have their approval, if you don't have the bank approval, they'll shut you down quick. And that's what I think many people in the space learned. And so to your point, it's, Block Card was not the first to come out in the space and actually do this, but we have been the one that was able to do it right, to get all the necessary approvals, and to actually deliver on it. And we're not so focused on saying, hey, we want to undercut you on fees, or we want to, do X, Y, and Z better than the competition. What we're trying to do is bring a holistic solution to market that is incrementally better in every little feature. So for example, KYC, it's the kind of thing where nobody else in the world right now has a KYC platform where they can go and get essentially instant approval. Most people have an annual
You gotta
KYC.
wait a couple weeks. I mean, that's what I
Yes,
hate
takes
about
some
platforms
time. It
that take
takes some time.
KYC. I mean, I've seen a platform recently. I just joined into it, and it was an interesting platform. I wanted to partake in what they were offering, and then the KYC is taking 2 weeks to get approved for, and I'm going back and forth with support, going back and forth, trying to get it figured out. It's just a pain that you don't want to be going through. So fast
And
KYC, that's a huge bonus.
I'd say, and you as a consumer, right, you're going to lose interest. You're like, this is a pain, right? I don't want to do it. So that's again one small little incremental thing that we wanted to do. Giving people 2 cards. Hey, I mean, you want to spend crypto? How about you do it right now? So instantly get a virtual card. You want a physical card? 2. That's great. Boom, we got that.
Incredible.
We are one of the only cards right now that allow for Apple, Google, or Samsung Pay. So you can link your card to your phone. And so what we're trying to do is give consumers no reason to say no.
Yeah.
Like, why would I not want to use Block Card? Just have it, use it, spend it. But as I mentioned, that really controls one aspect. I'll give you another kind of cool thing we have is that if you have a physical Block Card with you, you can walk into Walmart, into CVS, into 7-Eleven, and you can take paper money in hand up to $1,500. You can give it to the cashier, and you can actually put that directly onto the card and go cash to crypto instantly.
Wow.
Wow.
My partner, after this interview, go look at a video on our YouTube channel. My partner Daniel was down in Atlanta. He took $100. He walked into Walmart in Atlanta. He deposited on the card. He sent it to me. I got it on my card. I walked into a Bank of America. I withdrew that cash in real time, and it's very simple. It's kind of those use cases where it just demonstrates how this makes somebody's life easier, faster, better. Right? Because there are many people that maybe they work in food services, or they can't get to the bank between the hours of 9 and 4 p.m. Right, and so what we've been able to do with this is really make Walmart our 24/7 bank partner. Right, allowing people to get into crypto, use crypto or blockchain to essentially transact that money or move it very quickly, very cheaply, and then get it to somebody else to enable them to withdraw. And so anyway, I give you a very long-winded answer to a brief question, which is how do we look at our competitors? I think one, we don't think too much about the competition because we have kind of a very narrow view of how we see our product evolving over time, and it's not going to be just a crypto debit card. It's really going to be the blending of essentially traditional payment gateways, ACH, Visa, Swift, whatever you want to call it, combined with the benefits of blockchain and crypto, so people can interact with cryptocurrencies or fiat currencies in one easy-to-use interface, and really just give the people the optionality to do that. And here's the best part, is that more competition, it's great for the marketplace. But I believe firmly that a rising tide lifts all ships, and the market size is so big where I'm not thinking about how do I outdo the next guy. I'm thinking to myself is, how do I make this so great where everybody's thinking about this, and then maybe that competition at some point comes along and they offer something even better. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope it does.
That makes a lot of
That
sense.
makes perfect sense.
Because one thing that I do want to discuss with you, and I think that's a question that Keon was actually talking to me earlier as well. Because me and Keon went back and forth, and we were talking about reaching out to certain individuals in the industry, and just to start the channel off with some content, so on and so forth. And we're talking who are we gonna pick? Who has the skills that we want to provide to the channel, to bring to the audience, and projects that people would actually want to get into, projects that people want to participate in. And once we came across you guys, one of the questions that really rang a bell for us was how are you guys doing for your marketing? Because you said you have a marketing background, and marketing is one of the biggest things when it comes to getting your project out there, getting the right eyes on it, getting the right investors into it, and having
Mhm.
a successful project overall.
Yep.
So, what you guys are doing, how is this whole community building coming along? How are you guys expanding on your community? I know you guys have a strong community backing you right now, but how are you guys expanding on that and bringing in more investors, bringing in more eyes onto the project? Is it YouTube? Is it social media at all? Or do you have other marketing strategies that's building and growing this community constantly?
Yeah, no, it's for us it's a two-pronged approach, right? Which is marketing the product, which is Block Card, right? So we run ads, and obviously just kind of using the background and the knowledge we have from being in the digital advertising industry for so long.
Mm-hmm.
We don't just broadly spend money for brand value or things like that. We very much kind of correlate and pinch pennies as to if I'm putting $100 into marketing, I want $200 back in value,
Of course.
right? And we have our own kind of secret sauce as to how we ensure that we're getting people at a very kind of cost-effective method. And obviously, too, as you kind of fan the flame and blow that spark, as you get more and more happy customers, word of mouth is a great way to essentially get more people in your product.
Absolutely.
In terms of building the community, the other part of the question, which is Daniel and I we're in Telegram, we're on Twitter, we put ourselves out there, kind of like how you and I got connected, and we try to be authentic. So, like I said, I hope I should say that over the 2 years, we've built a reputation where the people who have been with us from the beginning, they know that when we do something, we're actually going to do it. And, maybe our time is a little off. I think, Daniel and I maybe are always a bit excited, like, hey, this is going to happen next month.
Right.
And then it happens actually 30 days after that.
Yeah.
But we've built essentially that reputation by delivering products. And I think that means a lot, especially in a space where there's a lot of skepticism and a lot of distrust.
Wow, okay. So that's interesting because that transparency, like you said, putting yourself out there, that transparency goes a long way. Over the past 2 years, 3 years, we've seen a lot of stuff go down in crypto. We saw our one of the biggest situations in crypto with BitConnect that, we were actually following when it was happening. And I think that was
Yep.
kind of the start off of the whole exit scams in cryptocurrency, all the horrible things that we saw in cryptocurrency, even up till today, that is still
Yeah.
happening and that there's still stuff going on. And I think that really scared away a lot of people from crypto. It made a lot of people shy away from actually looking into good projects and looking into strong projects that are doing things like Ternio. And how do you guys deal with that? How do you guys deal with the backlash, the FUD, and all the other crap that comes with being in a market that's so saturated with scams, and there's always people planning to do something that they say they're going to do, and then it goes sideways. How do you guys deal with all that and the backlash and the FUD?
I think it depends upon. It's not a one size fits all answer, right? I think it depends upon the person that we're engaging with and the point at which they're addressing us, right? Are they addressing us? Are you coming at me with a lot of anger because you don't like something we've done, or are you carrying that anger from something else you've seen in this space before and you're applying that to us?
Mm-hmm.
So I think first of all, understanding the other person's position is actually very important, especially when you're doing it in a digital environment where it's hard to we're talking face to face right now. It's tough to do that when you're typing. So I think oftentimes what we'll do is we'll do a lot of video, and we'll do it. It's not glamorous or anything, but Telegram has that video feature. It's good if you just learned about Ternio, you get into our Telegram channel. Maybe you have a general question, maybe you're not sure, you've heard something. If we can't answer the question right away, or it's the kind of thing where there maybe is some FUD behind it, we'll say, hey, while they do voice, we do video. Here we are. We're here to answer your questions. Listen, we're a small startup. We're trying to get to everybody. We're growing quickly. If it's a support question, we get back to you in 48 hours. If you have general questions, we're here to answer you. Our community is actually really helpful as well, because I've seen these conversations where people are just saying, new member joins, hey, I sent a deposit to my Block Card. It's not there. You guys just
my goodness.
$100. And it sounds like, okay, maybe you sent BTC during a time when there's high network, transactions, and it's just taking time to reflect in your balance. We didn't take your money. It just takes time. That's the way the technology works. So I guess I don't want to ramble. It really depends on where somebody's coming from with it.
Absolutely.
And we just want to be authentic in how we respond, and we can't please everybody.
Yeah.
But I think we have something like a 2% or less cancellation rate on the Block Card. And so I think that's really good just because people are understanding where we're going. That the other thing too is we never like to speculate on price.
Right.
A lot of times people come to BlockCard, they say, hey, when is your turn token gonna, 5x? And we said, listen, we're not here to support speculators or trade volume. We're here to really just build products, and in time, through building products and delivering value to the users, I think we'll see value for everybody in the community. But again, it's a challenge, and at times it's definitely frustrating as a founder to deal with it. But again, you always got to think about it as I personally, maybe hurt by it because it's my product and I, put so much time into it. But you're just learning about this product and you don't know me, you don't know Ian, and so I try to keep that in mind.
And that's why these interviews are a great thing, because it shows the community more of who Ian is, actually hearing him talk. So my next question, you slightly spoke about community. With every successful project, they have a big community backing. What are some things you want to say about your community and how important they have been in the development of your project and kind of what they're all about, and some words you want to say back to the community for their support?
Man. I would say thank you. Many people have been in our community for the entire duration of Ternio. We have many new people joining us now with BlockCard and stuff like that. But our admins, Natasha and Dennis, they've been with us from the very beginning. It's a labor of love, right? They volunteer their time. We have Max, we have Daniel, we have a lot of people that just volunteer their time to support Ternio and keep the community on track. And listen, I mean, it's the kind of thing where if you don't manage it, one or two bad apples can really kind of derail it. And so going back to the authenticity thing, again, Daniel and I, we can only be in there so often, right? We can only respond to so many questions before it becomes a time suck. But again, the community kind of self-managing like that has been really important. And I'm so excited because when you're building something special, the foundation is so important. Like building a house, right? You can't build a nice house on a shitty foundation. Our foundation is great. And so now what we have is thousands of advocates who are out there supporting Ternio, helping to educate others. And again, it's not about, we don't want to sell you on what we're doing. We just want to educate you. Everybody should do their own research, right? Understand what we're doing. And if it fills a need for you and it solves a problem, I mean, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, and on top of that, like just forward looking, like what do you see in the next 6 months, 1 year? I don't want to say like put a timeline on everything, but just kind of what would you say to an investor, what they could benefit from putting their funds, the opportunity cost of putting their funds with you guys as opposed to another investment, another ICO or another stock? Like what's the big difference maker here?
Well, I would say this, if you're looking for a investment, right, I would guide you over to our Reg CF crowdfund that we have running right now. You go to republic.co/Ternio. If you want to invest and have ownership equity in Ternio as a company, you can go and you can do that. We opened it up about 2 months ago, and we've raised approximately $300,000 from 1,000 investors so far.
Wow.
So from investment, that's where I would guide you. If you're curious about the Tern token and how it functions on the BlockCard, we've never marketed that as any kind of investment. It's strictly a utility. The way it functions on the card is that when people make deposits, essentially the value of the Tern token goes up, and when people spend on the BlockCard, the value of the Tern token goes down. Okay. So there is a lot of liquidity. I should also be really clear too, where most people look at the validity of a currency or something, they check CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap is great for speculators and traders, but our Tern token functions on the BlockCard off of the USDD Tern market price. And so that is not reflected on CoinMarketCap. So what you'll see is, a penny, sometimes under a penny, sometimes over it. And people look at it and they go, nah, they got nothing going on here. It couldn't be further from the truth, but again, its optics are important. And so at this point in kind of crypto's life cycle in the broader ecosystem, we've been really focused on utility. And not so much on kind of driving speculators' value and promising people you're going to get all these gains, because it's just not our focus. They treat the Tern token as an investment because they go, great, you guys are going to get all these users on BlockCard, all these deposits, and it's going to go up. And we say, listen, Bitcoin for the first couple of years, it was really volatile. It would go up to 19 cents, it would crash down to 2 cents. And, how many articles have you read where Bitcoin is now over? And that's why we're still in the very early days of what we're doing here at Ternio. And so for people to look at us and say, oh, I'm going to buy this Tern token because that's going to be worth more in the future. No, you should use the BlockCard for how it's designed, which is to essentially spend crypto wherever Visa is accepted. If you do, they'll believe in what we're doing, and you say, "Hey, Ternio, I mean, I believe we're going to become a billion-dollar company one day. I really do. I mean, I've given up my life for building this company,
Yep.
and some of the stuff we have coming is just, it's going to be massive." And so if you believe that too, after doing all your own research, I would guide you over to the Republic crowdfund. You can give us $100, you can give us $100,000, whatever you believe is right for you, but it'll give you a piece of the ownership of Ternio. And I think if you are looking for that kind of exposure, we'd love to have you, and go there and ask questions, because I answer a lot of questions all the time there.
Let us know about maybe a couple things that's being released, some hot news for the channel that we can actually release. Spill the beans on a couple things that maybe not be in the market right now.
I can tell you some of the things that we have coming up with Ternio, and especially with Blockcard. And then what I can do is I can give you one thing that we're going to be releasing tomorrow, but I'll give you kind of a 24-hour scoop on it, so you guys will be the
okay, perfect.
Just because you put me on the spot. So
good. That's what I like doing. It puts you on the spot so we can get some answers.
As I mentioned kind of earlier, in the next 30 to 45 days, we're going to be releasing FDIC insured checking accounts. So really our goal is to have not only the off ramp, but also the on ramp to allow people to essentially buy cryptocurrency, sell cryptocurrency, move it to a private wallet, put it on the card, whatever you want.
Right.
We're also going to be releasing a rewards program. So basically, when you actually use the card, you're going to be making, from what I've seen, probably the best return in terms of the rewards for actually spending in crypto. We have a lot of other things too. One thing we actually didn't touch on at all, and it's probably my own fault. Our business model is not just on building a block card and kind of a walled garden. Right. It's really on white labeling that technology for other companies. And so what you may or may not know is that actually companies like the Litecoin Foundation, Bitcoin.com, Cornerstone Management, they're also going to be using the block card platform to release their own cards probably within the next 2 to 4 months, depending upon where they are in the stage of our partnership. And so that's really important, because we feel it's not only kind of making Blockcard a great tool, but also enabling other, if you want to spend Litecoin, you want to spend Bitcoin Cash, you can spend whatever you want on whatever card you want access to. And it's kind of with the ethos of a rising tide lifts all ships. And so that's going to be important. The last thing I will say too is that while Blockcard is only available for U.S. residents today, in the next probably 2 months or so, we're going to be going live in 31 European countries. Okay. That's really important because while the card works anywhere in the world Visa is accepted, and I can come from North Carolina and go travel to Hong Kong and spend it, being able to onboard residents of other countries is kind of the choke point. And so opening up Blockcard to 31 European countries is going to be really helpful in just kind of driving overall value of the ecosystem as a whole. In terms of the exclusive news, which we haven't announced yet.
Let's hear that.
Just to kind of help kickstart the European release and kind of making some noise over there, we've actually partnered with Travala, which is a travel site you may have heard of before.
Yes, we have.
And so we're going to give away a $10,000 vacation, which is anybody who comes, they sign up on Blockcard, they make a deposit in their card, they basically are either in the U.S. or in the EU. We're going to give away that $10,000 vacation. We're going to ask that person to document it. And really just kind of help them kind of drive awareness on their own about crypto while using a block card to spend everything. So it'll be all paid. You guys should enter, actually.
That's amazing. And we'll tell her, we'll have that link in the description, because who doesn't want a vacation like that, a $10,000 vacation? So I'll definitely be interested.
We're going to pay for it. Travala's going to book it. And it should be cool. It's just a nice way to kind of, get some exposure and raise some eyebrows, hopefully.
That is incredible. What are the guidelines for the giveaway requirements, so we can actually have that on the channel, and people that are, getting into this contest, they'll be able to figure that out. There's going to be some registration or something like that. We'll have all the links in the description for you guys below. But let's get Ian to explain some of the requirements for the giveaway so we can have that set up for everybody.
Go to getblockcard.com, create your account. You can register. It's anybody in the world can win this contest. So when you make a deposit, every $100 deposit you make into your Blockcard account is essentially one entry into the contest. If you're in the US, you can actually go put it on your Blockcard and you could spend it just like you spend it today. We're not going to make people hold it in their account. If you're in the EU, unfortunately, we're not live there yet, so you will have to just leave it in there. But basically, it's going to be dependent upon people who create accounts, create deposits, because ultimately what we want to do is foster more and more people in that community who actually want to use Blockcard for spending their crypto. Once that's all done, I believe it's going to run until about April the 1st. Don't quote me on that, but it'll be in the description. And then after that, we're going to make that announcement. And then, as I said, Travala is going to book it. We're going to send you guys there. You guys are going to record it. And it should be great. And you know, maybe you go to Bora Bora, maybe you go to St. Lucia, Mykonos. I don't know. It's wherever you go. We put a couple of recommendations out there, but
I've always wanted to go to Bora Bora. Definitely gonna enter that giveaway.
I'm telling
We'll
you,
see how my luck is.
It'll be cool. And we want to make it. We call it a trip of a lifetime, right? Because most people will, drop that amount of money on a vacation at one time. But again, it's cool, and we're gonna document it. And then once the person's back, we're gonna do an interview and. It's just good fun, man.
That's gonna be awesome,
Definitely.
man. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that we had the opportunity to get you on the channel, and this is gonna be exciting. It's gonna be exciting times that we're gonna see, especially with 2020 here now, and the cryptocurrency market picking up a little bit. We're seeing the market in a better shape than it was last year, especially December. We got hit a little hard, so we're bouncing back from that, and hopefully the projects keep going up, and hopefully we see if we get a chance to get into this giveaway and win this. But guys, huge shout out to Ian. Huge thanks to Ian for getting on the channel with us today. Hopefully we can bring him to the channel in the future as well if he has some time, and cover some other news that they're doing with the platform. But thank you again, Ian, man. I appreciate you getting on the channel, and hopefully we connect, and we'll send you the link as soon as the video's up.
Guys, I just wanted to say thank you again. I'm honored to be the first guest, and keep doing what you guys are doing. Education is so important in this space, and I mean, you guys are just getting started. So I just want to say thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Ian. And down the future, if you can get Daniel on the line as well, hear about what he has to say, important news, that would be very awesome. And we look forward to it.
Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
We'll chat later. Take
Thanks,
care.
Everybody.
Bye.